I am so excited about today. First off, I know this is a big deal because we wouldn't have close to 800 people registered if it wasn't. But we're going to be talking about introducing market intelligence infused orchestration for procurement, how it works and how to get started. And with me today from Tonkean and Beroe, first off, I have Matt Aronson. He's the director of product marketing from Tonkean. He drives the go-to-market strategy, positioning, messaging, and sales enablement across the company's full portfolio. Now, he also has a career spanning product marketing, product management, and a generalist marketing leadership. He's worked across industries, including advertising, technology, building automation, employee communications, and process orchestration. He is an expert. I've heard him speak before. He is your go-to person. Now, at Tonkean, he focuses on helping enterprise streamline operations through intelligent intake orchestration and AI-powered automation. And I know that sounds like a mouthful, but Matt is going to make sure he breaks it down so everyone understands what it is. But powering that is Beroe, and the Chief Product Officer, Purna Dhawan, is with us today. And Purna is the Chief Product Officer at Beroe Inc., and they are a leader in procurement intelligence and analytics. She has more than 17 years of industry experience. She leads the development and execution of Beroe's product and solution strategies worldwide. She drives the innovation roadmap for BeroeLive.ai platform, ensuring that it continues to lead the market and product division intelligence. And then, of course, my name is Dawn Tura, CEO and President of SIG, and I will be here today to get your questions answered. So please make sure you open up your Q&A. And what I want you to know, if we don't get to your questions today, our panelists have decided to take all your questions and they will personally follow up with you after today's webinar. So please make sure that you send your questions in. And I just want to preface as well, folks, you are going to be seeing a product demo today. This is a deep dive. A deep dive means you want to go and peek behind the curtain and see how the product works. So this is a deep dive. It's not just thought leadership. They're going to start with some slides, share some thought leadership, and then we're going to go into a demo. So I just like to preface that so you know why you're here today. Occasionally I'll get someone say like, wow, it's sort of sales aid. Well, that's what it's supposed to be. You're here to learn about Tonkean and Beroe. So that's why they're going to be telling you about it. So with that, Matt and Prana, I am going to go off screen and take it away.
Thank you so much. I want to thank Dawn and the entire SIG team, as well as Prerna and the Beroe team. Really excited to get into this session with you today. Let me turn off the remote control here. Okay. Really quick as we get in, I'll just go over a brief agenda. We will give you some background. I know some of you are probably coming in because you're familiar with Beroe. Maybe you're a Beroe customer. Some of you are not. Same goes for Tonkean. We're going to get everybody up to speed on these two solutions before we get into the powerful new capabilities that have come out of this partnership and integration. We'll do a demo, and we will hopefully have a good amount of time for Q&A. Before we dive in, however, we have some poll questions for the audience. Here we go. So one quick technical note here: if you're using multiple screens on your computer, you might in fact need to look on your secondary screen to find the poll, but I see most people are finding it. Okay, we're getting dozens of responses at a good clip here. So the first question: what is your primary tool for managing procurement requests? Choose the best option: email, Slack/Teams, custom portals, ERP/P2P or S2P, or manual/offline. So we'll give this a minute to get some answers. Email really taking an early lead, not totally surprising, but boy, would we love to help with that, as we'll get into. Manual offline, that is the walk up to procurement's desk procurement request. Is that's how I take it? Handwritten letter. I've done one on paper before. It's been a while.
I saw the results pop up and they disappeared. So Lauren, can you put those back up?
I can still see them.
Oh, good. Okay, good.
I think we can call this complete. We have 167 responses. 48% of you said email. 33% of you said ERP/P2P. Let's see what's next. 14% of you said custom portals, followed by 4% for manual/offline and 1% for Slack or Teams. So some interesting interesting insights there. I can't say it tracks exactly with what I expected. The skew toward email is somewhat surprising, right, Perna?
Yeah, definitely. It is somewhat surprising. I would have expected a little bit higher number on the custom portals. I think that's been a trend last few years for sure.
So, I can hit the share results button here, but we just went over it. Here we go. So what types of procurement or sourcing data does your organization purchase or subscribe to? Select all that apply. The options are market pricing data, category trends and supply market insights, risk assessment data, third-party vendor ratings and reviews, supplier diversity data, regulatory compliance data, custom researcher data sets, and then finally, none. We do not purchase or subscribe to external data. Thank you all for so willingly participating here. This does make it fun. Fun to have a big group.
It's a big group indeed. We're at about 275 participants, so that's great.
Full ended. Okay. Okay. So our leader here, and this is a select all that applies, so it's not going to add up to 100, but market pricing data, 62% of you said you buy things like commodity prices, benchmarks for services, and so forth, followed by category trends and supply market insights, followed by risk assessment data, followed by third-party vendor ratings and reviews, and then supplier diversity data. For example, minority-owned, veteran-owned certifications. Next, regulatory compliance data at 18%. Custom researcher data sets at 17%. If anyone feels inclined to put in the chat what kinds of custom data you're buying, that would be interesting to learn about as well here. And then finally, 18% of you said none. We do not purchase or subscribe to external data. So thank you again for, and we will, in fact, Ignacio, share the recording, and these poll results should come with that. So I think we got you covered there. Michael says, Beroe, great. Love to see that. Here, I'll hit share results here. Okay, why don't we move on? I'm going to kick it over to Prerna to talk about Beroe.
Yeah. So I think it was a good segue. Thanks, Michael, for sharing that you were already getting some of your data from Beroe. So I will quickly introduce what Beroe does. I think many of the audiences should probably be aware of us, but for those who aren't and those who are interested in seeing where we're heading, I'll hopefully give you a quick overview. I think over the last couple of decades, we've all been hearing about data-driven decision making, a lot about how we are expected to make decisions that are informed, that are evidence based, but the reality is that we still don't do that. A lot of it is to do with us as humans. We kind of use data when it's convenient. However, I think the reality is there is so much happening around us in markets. There's so much happening globally at a macro level with geopolitical changes and so on and so forth, and that pace of these disruptions has only led to more volume, variety, and velocity of data that's coming at us as procurement professionals. And of course, the demands from procurement teams are only growing. And where we've got to, I think, in the last couple of decades is there's really too much data and too many tools. And we'll talk about that later in this session about why that was essentially the premise for our partnership. How do we look at that challenge? But more specifically, what Beroe does, if we go to the next slide, Matt, is really take this head on. And what we are looking to provide is this holistic integrated intelligence that covers three vectors. It's categories. So what are you buying? Suppliers, who are you buying from, who else is out there, and more widely, supply chains. I think it's important to recognize that when we look at market intelligence, it's not just at the micro category level or at the supplier level. It's giving you that fuller picture up and downstream of what could be affecting your suppliers, what could be affecting the markets that you deal with on a daily basis. So just quickly introducing Beroe on the next slide. Here, we've been in business for 18 years now. We are a well-recognized name with many businesses. We do work with more than 1,000 companies, and I do want to call out that we've seen this as a strength where we've been able to democratize access to this market intelligence, not for just for the Fortune 500, Global 2000 companies, but really companies of all shapes and sizes across the world. So we have companies who are $1 billion, a couple of $1 billion in revenue, but procurement is powered with the same sort of intelligence, is using intelligence with the same rigor as a $50 billion organization, and enabling procurement teams to deliver value to the business. We'll work with clients across 15 plus industries. How this is done, I will cover that on the next slide, but we're based headquartered out of North Carolina. And the way we work is we bring this trusted, reliable market intelligence from our team of 500 plus category experts, but covering that and complementing that, a wider network of 1,800 plus subject matter experts, suppliers across the world that help us bring this data and intelligence in the hands of our procurement subscribers. If we go to the next slide, here, Matt. So what we are looking at doing at Beroe is we bringing this combination of reliable data. And that's all the more important as we are in this era of LLMs and AI, building that data foundation, which is curated, which you can trust and make decisions based on, applying AI where it makes sense, and of course, bringing the human intelligence to the fore to enable strategic procurement. So from a BeroLive.ai perspective, which is our flagship platform, we help our customers across their life cycle. So whether you're looking at managing your categories, finding and shortlisting new suppliers, alternative suppliers, benchmarking against your peers, benchmarking against market leaders, when you're doing supply negotiations or sourcing events, right down to then looking at how do you manage supplier risk or inflation impact. And those macro risks I've talked about, of course, tariffs and all the changes in the last couple of months are the big flavor we're looking at today. So we, of course, help our procurement customers with all these use cases. We have not just our experts, like I said, industry SMEs and suppliers, but we also work with many best of breed data partners. So when we give you access to our platform, it's not just data from Beroe, it's also through our trusted data partners which makes it that it is all available in one place. So you're not overwhelmed with too many tools for data access, for subscriptions, and so on and so forth. And ultimately, what it boils down to is we cover both direct and indirect categories, 2,300 plus, not just at global level. We have regional market content. We have cost structures. So what is constituting cost? What is direct cost, indirect cost, labors, overheads, profit margin? So we have very, very granular insights on that. We look at price trends and forecasts. So you're not just looking at the history. So if you're buying, whether it's a direct commodity, it's a semi-finished product, or it's a service category, we have insights that help you negotiate better, that help you budget better, and that give you not just the historical perspective, but also a future-looking view of what you are planning for in the coming year and the coming couple of years, and so on and so forth. We do cover, supplier information, disruptions that are happening at the supplier levels, and also geopolitical insights, which are all the more critical because, again, you may be working with suppliers, let's say in France, but if those suppliers have supply chains in Russia, in China, in Mexico, in any other part of the world, knowing what's happening in those parts is equally important as you look at your future-proofing your business from any of these disruptions and risks there. Matt, if we go to the next slide, please. So what you get access to for customers who already work with Beroe, you should be already aware of this, but we have our flagship intelligence platform called BeroLive.ai. Other than that, we also have almost a digital twin where all our data assets and all our trusted data sets are available in a data hub. This is how we integrate with other solution providers like you see here, including with Tonkean. So we are quite friendly in terms of partner access, and I will talk about that later in the session as well. We also have Abby. Abby has been in existence for many years. Of course, it wouldn't do justice if I didn't say Abby is AI powered. It is a very good assistant. In fact, we have customers who send us messages about how Abby is their best friend. And the intent is really to make that intelligence and market data available to you in different formats, because sometimes it's just easy to have a conversation and talk about this. And of course, to complement all this, we have custom services. So we don't want to position us as a pure AI solution. That's not what it is. Sometimes there is industry context, there's market nuance that needs to be brought in. So you do get access to our human capabilities, our category experts that you can have conversations with, ask custom questions of, and so on and so forth. At an overall level, I would say Beroe's primary mission is to make sure you have access to the best and the trusted market data insights at the point of decision making. So in your S2P platforms, in your best of breed spend analytics tools, category strategy tools, also in your communication channels. And I think, of course, the rest of this presentation is where we've done more detailed and deeper integration with Tonkean, which again is with that intent. And I'll hand it over to Matt to talk us through about Tonkean, and then we'll go through how does this come together here.
Thank you, Prerna. So before I tell you about Tonkean, I do want to take a moment to define what we mean by intake orchestration in the procurement context, as it is a term you'll hear throughout our discussion today. At its core, intake orchestration is the intelligent coordination and automation of the entire procurement request lifecycle, from the moment a stakeholder first signals their intent to make a purchase through to the routing, approval, and execution of that request. But it's more than just workflow automation. True intake orchestration ensures that procurement expertise is engaged at the optimal moment, that compliance is maintained throughout, and that stakeholders are guided through the process in a way that feels natural and intuitive. And so think about sort of the seamless experiences of modern consumer purchasing platforms. That is the standard that we're bringing to enterprise procurement. And looking at our slide here, you'll see 4 key pillars that make Tonkean's approach unique. First, we are experience first, and this isn't just about making things look nice. It's about fundamentally rethinking how stakeholders interact with procurement processes. We are creating experiences that drive natural adoption and compliance. Second, we are AI-based, but we're not trying to replace procurement expertise. We are augmenting it, making it more accessible, and ensuring that it's applied in the right moment in every process. Third, integration centric, and that is certainly topical for our session today. The average enterprise has dozens of systems touching procurement processes. We do not ask you to rip and replace anything. We connect to and enhance what you already have. And finally, we are business led. So no code configuration means procurement teams can adapt and evolve processes without depending on IT resources. So the kind of the why behind Tonkean and procurement works. Only 10% of CPOs told Ardent Partners last year that they believe that their procurement technology and software investments drive great value. And the report cites really 2 primary drivers of that. One is low requester compliance, right? There's an adoption crisis. Only 14% of procurement teams report high adoption of procurement tools. We saw in our poll before a disconcerting number of respondents said, oh, the primary channel is through offline and walking up to someone's desk or sending an email, right? So there's direct consequences of that downstream, right? Increased rogue spend, missed savings opportunities, wasted procurement team bandwidth. Second, a fundamental misalignment between processes and systems. This creates a cascade of problems, right? Slower cycle times, inefficient resource usage. Ultimately, it can even damage procurement's standing within the organization, right? So if you find yourself perceived as a bottleneck not because you want to block process or block progress, but because the systems themselves make it difficult to efficiently engage with requesters. So um, the question is from there, right? How do we address those challenges? And we can break it down for those two key areas that I think every procurement leader will recognize. When it comes to low requester adoption, we consistently hear things like, how do I do X, right? Where do I even start? These are not just casual complaints, right? They are signals that employees feel alienated and confused by existing systems. And when employees feel this way, they inevitably find workarounds, right? They either seek out procurement via unofficial channels, or worse, they don't involve procurement at all, or they wait until the 11th hour. And the solution to this requires two key elements, right? First, personalization, and that means meeting employees where they work with guided, context-aware experiences. So if your teams are using Slack or Microsoft Teams, that's where your procurement processes should begin, right? Think about how consumer technologies adapt to our preferences. That is the standard. Second, visibility. Nothing kills adoption faster than uncertainty. So when employees can't see where the requests stand or what's happening next, they can lose faith in the process. You need to have comprehensive process transparency and centralized status tracking that makes sense to the requester, not just to procurement. For misaligned processes and systems, we constantly hear feedback, right, about approval confusion, data inconsistency across systems. And these two, right, are symptoms of a deeper problem. Two critical capabilities, right, to address this. First, orchestration. You got to automate the handoffs across departments and systems while maintaining data consistency. Approvals, terms updates, and status changes should automatically sync across relevant systems. And second is that business-led configuration piece, right? So procurement teams need to be able to evolve processes without depending on IT, right? Without depending on outside help. When policy changes or when, this VP moves on and there's a new approver or there's a reorg, right? And it always does. Or there's a new system, right, that needs to be connected. You need to be able to adapt your workflows immediately, not in 3 months. We've all felt that pain. So this kind of brings us to how Tonkean addresses these challenges with our latest innovation. And if you go to Tonkean.com now, it's an exciting day for us because we just launched our enterprise agents, our agentic orchestration, into general availability. So encourage you to check out our website after the session. We have a fascinating video and landing page there. You'll see our press release, I think, in the industry trades as well. But to walk you exactly through how this works in practice from a sort of chronological perspective and from the point of view of the requester, we'll start with the AI front door, right? And that's a weird, okay. Consider an employee who needs to purchase new analytics software, or in the case of this example, right, some branded tees for our Q3 trade shows. Instead of navigating through multiple systems, guessing which form they have to fill out, they can simply initiate their request with natural language, right? And it's depicted here happening in Microsoft Teams. Tonkean's AI front door is accessible through Teams, email, Slack, or a custom portal, which we'll show you in the demo. After the AI front door, right, which can answer basic questions, route you to the right workflows, you have AI auto handling, right, which pre-fills relevant fields by pulling information from your directory, from your financial systems, from supplier management platforms, from Beroe, for example, all automatically. And this significantly reduces completion time and improves data accuracy. The inline AI Q&A is particularly powerful because it's context aware. So when a user accesses help within a specific page of an intake sequence, the system already understands the context, the type of purchase, the relevant fields, the applicable policies. This is not generic help. It is specific guidance based on the exact situation, right? And when human expertise is needed, our human in the loop collaboration kicks in. So procurement and other cross-functional partners can step in to answer questions. You can escalate conversations that you have with the Ask AI tool to a human collaborator. Those collaborators can help complete requests. You can even modify workflows in real time by adding new subtasks. And then finally, proactive agentic automation, which is a good segue to the next slide here. Tonkean's enterprise agents are powered by our orchestration engine, which brings all the pieces together in a unified system. So people, processes, applications, data, all in harmony. It's not just about connecting systems, it's about creating a coherent experience where data flows naturally. So for example, when a purchase request requires legal review, information moves automatically between your procurement system and legal's contract management platform, maintaining accuracy and efficiency. The system accelerates handoffs, reviews, and approvals by automatically routing requests based on your policies and thresholds as defined by you in the no-code editor. High-value software purchases, for example, might trigger an IT security review, while standard office supply orders route directly to approval or go to punch out. For reporting, we centralize tickets from every system involved. Most important thing here, our no-code editor, right? The 100% no-code workflow editor, empowering procurement to evolve processes as needed. I should note, it's not fully about starting from scratch here either. We have, if you go to tonkean.com/library, lots of out-of-the-box procurement workflows as part of our standard implementation that can be sort of adopted in full or treated as a starting point, so that you're not starting from scratch, right? More than 220 native connectors here, by the way, which as you'll see, I think I have a slide next here that says more than 200, which is an outdated number. Yes, it is outdated, isn't it? So connecting seamlessly with existing technology infrastructure, more than 220 pre-built integrations, spanning procure-to-pay platforms like Coupa, SAP, Ariba, and Oracle, ERP systems, including SAP and Microsoft Dynamics and Workday, contract management solutions, document management systems, so many more. All of these are browsable at tonkean.com/library or library.tonkean.com. You'll get there either way if you want to check that out. Important thing here, these integrations are built and maintained by Tonkean. So there's really minimal IT involvement, typically just kind of handing over API keys and basic access. No custom development, no ongoing maintenance burden. And this really achieves two things, right? One, requesters get one consistent intake experience regardless of backend systems. And two, stakeholders can work in their preferred environments while maintaining perfect synchronization. So summarizing kind of how these capabilities come together to create truly intelligent orchestration for procurement processes, we focus on three key pillars here, right? So first, Tonkean is business-led in every aspect. 100% no-code platform, putting control in procurement's hands, drag and drop tools for creating workflows, granular access controls that maintain security while enabling flexibility. Second, we maintain a human-centric approach. So human-in-the-loop capabilities for any workflow at any stage, clear emphasis on intuitive experiences that drive adoption. And finally, Tonkean is truly interoperable. All those integrations, what we call a stateful architecture that actively monitors and maintains data consistency, triggers actions across systems, real-time synchronization of data across that entire enterprise technology stack. And these pillars kind of come together to deliver guided buying experiences that really work, right? Because they're built around how people work, not just how systems work. So now I want to get into the most important part of this session, introducing Market Intelligence-Infused Orchestration, a joint solution from this exciting new partnership between Tonkean and Beroe that we launched back in December. Let me break down what this means in practice. So let's talk about why it matters. And I'm really going to be reiterating a couple things here, right? We're seeing two critical challenges in procurement today. First, the tech overload, right? We've already covered that here to some extent. More software, more data, more chaos. Organizations have heavily invested in procurement technology, but instead of simplification, we've created complexity, right? Each new tool brings its own interface, its own data silo, its own learning curve, right? And that learning curve is important when it comes to the procurement team and its partner functions, but really, really critical when it comes to sort of those long tail of employee requesters who maybe only need to get into your procure to pay system once every quarter or a couple times a year, right? And then it's an alien environment once they get there. So second here, decision-making gaps, right? And this also follows from those challenges I laid out a few minutes ago around misaligned processes and systems. While we have more data than ever, it's trapped in silos and ad hoc access patterns that limit day-to-day usefulness. Having data is not the same as having actionable insights. Procurement teams have access to valuable market intelligence. It's too often separated from where actual decisions are being made. And this disconnect between tools and insights isn't just frustrating. It can actively hinder procurement's ability to deliver value to an organization. So this is precisely why Beroe and Tonkean came together to offer market intelligence-infused orchestration, which unifies category and supplier intelligence, organizational policies, and business context from the first moment of intent with orchestrated AI-assisted workflows across the entire request lifecycle. I want to zero in on that from the first moment of intent piece here, because one of the benefits of this is really extending access for these insights beyond the procurement team, the finance team, and so forth, and out to the requesters distributed through the business, and enabling them to have that insight, to have that sort of smarter decision-making capability earlier in the process. It saves everybody time and hassle. So what makes this approach unique is that it brings together all the elements procurement teams need for effective decision-making, right? Market intelligence that informs choices, policy guidance that ensures compliance, business context that aligns decisions with organizational goals, and workflow automation that makes the right path the easy path. Love that, right? Make the right path the easy path. This is not just another layer of technology. It's a fundamental reorienting of how procurement teams access and use market intelligence within their daily workflows. This integration, this partnership brings in-the-moment access to cost benchmarks for realistic budget alignment, right? Category reviews providing supplier landscape context, market trends informing timing and negotiation strategies, alternative supplier recommendations, comprehensive risk assessments, supplier, geopolitical, regulatory, negotiation leverage insights, category-specific RFX questions. And again, the revolutionary aspect here is not just data access. It is the contextual integration of these really, really valuable data into workflows. Intelligence appearing exactly when needed, relevant to the specific task at hand. Anything you would add here, Prerna?
Yeah, I think the key message here is there is all this data that we provide to our customers in other channels. We also do through teams, etc. And of course, our intent is that as you look at Tonkean as that layer of orchestration across all the tools that you may have accumulated over the years, the intent is that this data that you may be getting from us directly in other platforms is now also in that Tonkean layer, right? And you'll see that as we talk through the next few slides and in the demo, it is there for a reason. It's not just putting data because we have data. It is data at the point of decision making. And ultimately, it's a decision back approach that you have to make a decision. Should I go with my existing supplier or should I go with an alternative supplier? You are making a decision, and that's when the data is being surfaced. So I think that's quite critical in terms of the way we've done this, and we've looked at this joint solution, that it is there for a reason. It's not just two solutions being cobbled together to create more chaos in your worlds. I think I just wanted to add that, Matt, as we looked at our use cases, we definitely did want to make this purposeful and value adding in your daily workflows.
Absolutely, well put. So this is less so a linear representation of any particular procurement process as it is a framework for thinking about how these tools are brought together broadly. So request intake comes in through the AI front door, which interprets needs and surfaces relevant category insights immediately, which I'll show you in just a moment. Beroe's data provides immediate market context within the intake workflow. Policy overlay combines that market intelligence with organizational policies and budgets and the like. Workflow orchestration automates system and stakeholder handoffs, and then intelligent routing directs requests based on things like spend thresholds and business rules. And critically, when procurement comes in to review, approve, or otherwise support a request, they too have immediate access, integrated access to those kinds of insights. So we had a question come in through the chat about some use cases here. And so we're going to talk about 5 kind of core use cases that should by no means be considered an exhaustive list, right? Part of the beauty of the Tonkean orchestration platform is that at its core is a no-code development platform that can be tooled to do nearly anything, and I'm only slightly exaggerating there. But these are some really good use cases to look at first. So purchase intake and supplier selection, right? We've transformed this by guiding requesters toward compliant and cost-effective suppliers while streamlining the intake process. When selecting suppliers, users have immediate access to comparative data, risk profiles, performance metrics, all of which help them make more informed decisions. Budget alignment and cost benchmarking. So going far beyond simple price comparison by ensuring accurate spend forecasts and budgeting through current market data help prevent the all too common scenario where requests get stuck in approval loops because of misaligned budget expectations. You are seeing actual market rates, category benchmarks, and cost trends right when you need them. The on-demand Q&A capability is particularly powerful because it provides those instant answers to procurement and sourcing questions through our AI-powered knowledge base through that Beroe connector. And instead of procurement teams repeatedly answering the same questions about policies and procedures, stakeholders get immediate, consistent responses based on both market intelligence and your organization's specific requirements. 4, supplier consolidation. This represents a significant opportunity for a lot of organizations, right? We help identify opportunities to optimize your supplier base and leverage existing relationships. The system actively identifies where you might have redundant vendors or opportunities to consolidate spend for better terms. The Beroe data is a really important component of this, right? And then finally, the sort of streamlined RFP, RFI approach that automates and standardizes the process with category-specific templates and workflows. So instead of starting from scratch each time or using generic templates, you're leveraging proven category-specific questions and requirements from the Beroe API that ensure you're capturing all critical information from potential suppliers. So before we get into our demo, what sets market intelligence-infused orchestration apart? It is a little bit of a mouthful, I suppose. First, actionable guidance, right? Intelligence appears at the moment of decision-making, not in separate reports or dashboards. 2, unified external and internal data, that seamless combination of market intelligence with organizational context. And 3, seamless integration, right? Wrapping around all of your existing systems with business-led configuration. So with that, I'm going to go into our demo. As I get that pulled up, Prerna, any other thoughts or commentary on the wrap up there?
I think you pull up the demo, Matt. I'll just reiterate the fact that you'll see in the demo that it will feel fairly seamless and natural. The way we've looked at use cases is how we understand your requesters will be raising requests. So procurement is dealing with decisions. Should I go here? Should I approve this spend? Is this in line with the budgets? And also, I think one of the problems beyond too much data, beyond too many tools, is this inability to combine internal and external data together. And I think that's one core capability that you should see in action here, but also that's the promise, that's the art of the possible on how do you bring data that's in your ERP or your spend data, your contract data, combined with what the market's changing, how those are being affected by broader trends. So I just wanted to reiterate, Matt, that key element, and you've already said it, but I wanted to reiterate that
Yeah.
internal external data combination for decisions is the power that we're trying to make available more widely.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So we will begin here with that AI front door. And this is, again, how most employees or stakeholders would naturally interact with the system, or at least initiate their interactions with the system. Right now, I'm showing this inside Tonkean's portal for convenience, but keep in mind, this same experience can be embedded in Microsoft Teams, Slack, email, wherever your teams already collaborate. First, I'm going to, let's imagine I'm a category manager looking to buy raw materials. I'm going to ask the front door, let's see, how much does plate steel cost right now? We'll start with a direct procurement example. It's thinking. It's looking across that Beroe data set. Okay, $42 per hundredweight, or 840 per short ton. And you could click through here to look at it in Beroe if you're a user that's auth and have a user in the Beroe platform itself. What about how the pricing is trending? How should we expect the price to change over the next 4 months? Okay, so they're expected to gradually rise over the next 4 months due to increasing demand, particularly in construction and infrastructure sectors. Immediately, right before we've initiated any kind of request, before we've initiated any kind of formal process here, we have valuable information at our fingertips that can play a role in the decision making around, what raw materials to buy and when to purchase them, right? So you might conclude, okay, we better get on this now before pricing goes up. And that's, again, thanks to the Beroe data being piped into this tool. Real-time intelligence, I should say, in the moment intelligence, right? Not static spreadsheets, not manual data entry. I'm going to pivot here to an indirect use case for the sake of showing you some more of an intake flow. So I need to bring on an IT strategy consulting firm for our Q3 digital transformation initiatives. Thinking. Sure, I can help you initiate a purchase request for the IT strategy consulting firm. Click below to start. And once again, this AI front door can be used for those basic questions to query the available data, but it also is the sort of first orchestrator for Tonkean's enterprise agents, handing off to the proper agents for this type of support. And so we're going to go into our purchase request here. And just a warning up front, I'm going to show you something of an abbreviated version of this workflow because I know you didn't all come to this to watch someone fill out a form. So I'll show you the most exciting and illustrative points here. This is going to be a new purchase. And notice, once again, how it is pre-filling context already from the chat I had with the AI front door, right? And so let's say the estimated total cost is going to be $175. Okay. And when do we need this done by? We'll just say a month out from now. Okay, we're going to breeze through some of these steps, like I said, which are less essential for the story here. Okay, so suppliers. Maybe the requester has a supplier in mind here. Strat Edge. Let's see. here we are, StratEdge Partners. I'm going to select it. We could also create a new supplier if it wasn't an existing supplier in the system. And right away, right, as a requester, I am, my experience here is enriched by that Beroe data, right? And so we have some high-level information about StratEdge, and this is really all configurable. And not only is it configurable, but it can be responsive to inputs from the user earlier in the process. So if I brought up a specific parameter or criteria in that front door chat, it could dynamically insert something there as well. I'm prompted also to compare to some alternatives, right? And that is also sort of Beroe's doing, right, in terms of mapping to who are some other suppliers in this same category and presenting, right, some market category supplier insights surrounding that vendor as well. I'm going to stick with StratEdge for now.
Matt, just to clarify here, StratEdge is essentially your incumbent vendor or a vendor that already exists in your system, which means that you can see that internal data and that external competitors or the alternatives available is being brought together for comparison. So you can choose whether you want to go with the incumbent or explore alternatives. So I just wanted to clarify that in this example, StratEdge is the incumbent or a vendor you're already using.
Great point. Yes. So I skipped another screen here to get to a juicier one. We're getting to the line item view, and I want to show you a couple things here in this view where Tonkean orchestration and AI capabilities married to Beroe's insights can play a really important role. So I know for one thing, we're going to need a project manager as part of this project, right? And I think it'll be 100 hours from them. As far as unit price goes, right, I'm going to click our Ask AI button up here and say, what are the going rates for a project manager in IT strategy consulting? 195. So it retrieved that from Beroe, right? Now, let's say I didn't bother to do that and I just entered in a number and it was above that cost benchmark. And let's say we've configured this workflow to treat those cost benchmarks as caps on unit price for this type of purchase. Once I hit enter here, well, we've got an alert, right? You've entered an hourly rate of 200 for project manager, but the market price for this role in IT services in the USA is 195. So I could either go back here and make a change to bring it under that threshold, or I could provide some additional justification, right? So we happen to need a highly specialized PM for this project. Procurement and the approval chain will have the opportunity to scrutinize that and either approve it or send it back, right? And I think, critical part of what I just showed you and what I'm about to show you some more of is, AI-driven support does not begin and end at the AI front door, right? It follows the requester through the intake process. It knows the context of the request, the user's role, their team, their seniority level, and so forth. It can provide real-time support. And most notably here, it can draw from that Beroe data set through the Beroe API and give in-the-moment insights as well. And so we're asked for a business case here. This is a fairly big purchase. I'm going to ask AI again here. Can you help me write this business case for our IT strategy consulting engagement related to the Q3 digital transformation initiative? Okay. It's going to ask some follow-up questions, right? Because we don't want it to be too generic. I'm going to say, yes, customer experience is an emphasis. And I am aware of the time here. Great. So certainly we could go back and forth with the Ask AI and collaborate with it to fine tune this for the sake of time. And since I think I got the point across here, I'm going to take this one and submit our request. One thing I should have mentioned there is, and you saw the button there in that Ask AI chat, you can either take what the AI gives you, collaborate with it. You can also escalate to a human collaborator through that inline collaboration tool to say, how does this look to you? Do you want to make any changes to it? Procurement can come in and loop other folks in as well. Really, really nifty little tool there that, again, combines that AI support with that human touch. So this is where requesters can see where the request stands. You see the basic details here. You can also see the process laid out very transparently and clearly right in front of you with statuses for every step, not just within Tonkean, but in every relevant system, right? So you can see what's going on in Coupa here. You can see the preliminary reviews, direct manager review, and so forth over here. I'm going to switch perspectives here from the requester to the point of view of the procurement team. And I will wrap this up in a moment so that we can make sure to get at least a couple questions here. Okay, I think that must be 13. So once again, we're prompted with some really valuable Beroe intelligence here. And once again, the procurement team can do some comparisons of their own, right? To either approve this supplier, approve this request, or send it back, or override, or insist on a different supplier. The next thing I want to show you here, right, just to, again, I'm sort of speed running through the end of this. We create a sourcing event from it. So we're going to put in strat edge. And let's say we want to leverage that Beroe RFP builder. We can click yes, select a category, IT services, and right here, right, it populates that list of questions that can serve as a really valuable starting point for issuing that RFP, right? So I am going to end the demo portion here. If we had a little more time, I'd probably show you the solution builder, the solution studio within Tonkean and the no code builder. I'm going to encourage you, if you're interested in learning more here, to reach out through our request a demo form on our website, and we'd be happy to give you a deep dive and talk about how this can all come together for you and your organization. The other thing I neglected to do was click over into Coupa, but you can see the request reflected there as well. At 8:57 here, I want to sort of hit pause on the demo. Any questions we can address in the next few minutes? It's funny how this happens, right? You rehearse it, but the time always expands to fill the time on the calendar almost no matter what, right?
Yeah. So one of the burning questions from everybody is, will I get a link to this, or will I get the slides? The answer is yes. Everyone listen, we will send the slides. We will send a link to today's recording. And I know we have a ton of Q&A that we have not gotten to. What we do is we'll send all the questions over to Matt and Brenna, and they will have an opportunity to take the question, write out the answer, and we will send it out to everyone. So please don't worry if your question did not get answered right now. There's some really good ones. But people that want to know about how does this integrate with SAP, do you have examples of how this integrates with Workday? All of that should be answered by Matt to you guys directly. That way everybody will have those answers. A lot of the comments, Matt, I hope you have been seeing them. This is great. We love it. Thank you for the demo. I want more time on the demo. But we're going to take all of the chat and all the Q&A and send it to you. There are so many questions here. I don't even know where to start, except can we see more? And can you give a longer demo?
Absolutely. Yeah, we would love to get together and whether we can loop the Beroe team in as well, and make sure that you get the deep dive, get all your questions
Yeah.
answered, see if it might be a fit for you.
Good.
Yeah, we'll definitely do that, Dawn. Just there are a bunch of questions around the examples on IT consulting and where does the data come from. Happy to share more information. But just as a headline, what you saw here was just an example. Like I said, we have this data not just on IT and professional services and marketing, but all sorts of direct categories for different regions, countries, etc. Now, I won't say we have all the data under the sun, but there is quite a lot. We have more than any other market intelligence player out there, and we'll be happy to share more with the audience as a follow-up from this session.
Yeah, and then for folks that want a more detailed demo, reach out to Matt directly. They can get together with you, do a one-on-one if you want to drill into some of this a little bit further. They are happy to answer your questions. Yes, about integrating to S2P with SAP Ariba. Can we pull historical raw data? All of these are great questions, but in the interest, the fact that we only asked you for 1 hour of your time to reserve on your calendar, we are going to end the webinar at the top of the hour. I want to thank Tonkean and Beroe. We could have gone on for 2 or 3 hours with the amount of questions that are coming in. They're flying. I'm getting them in chat. I'm getting them in Q&A. So I want to thank you because not only did you generate so much interest and have so many attendees, people just have a ton of questions, which means you did what you wanted to do, which was draw them in, and you really drew them in. So congratulations to Matt and Pranav for just a fantastic webinar. And I just want to thank you for being here today, everybody. Wherever you are, have a good afternoon, good morning, good evening. Stay safe, stay healthy, and make sure that you come back and join us for our Power Hour webinars next week. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, Dawn.
Thanks, everybody. Thanks, Dawn.